second trip in 2 months to Arizona, where he defeated Trump in the 2020 election by a slim majority. Now to Illinois, where counterterrorism chief African-American Larry Snelling is Chicago's new top cop. He was confirmed yesterday as the superintendent of the Chicago Police Department following a unanimous vote from the city council. Snelling joined the police force back in 1992 as a patrol officer. He replaces interim superintendent Fred Waller. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
Is this the title? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
The Clippers are discussing a game plan to acquire LA native Jrue Holiday. The 14-year NBA veteran was among 7 players involved in the 3-team trade yesterday that sent Damian Lillard from the Portland Trail Blazers to the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks sent Holiday to Portland as part of that deal. Portland is rebuilding with younger players. Holiday, at age 33, might not be a good fit with the Blazers. The former UCLA star will be a better fit with a veteran Clippers roster and probably a better fit than James Harden. Stay tuned. The Dodgers are running out of time to catch Atlanta for Major League Baseball's best record and home field advantage in the playoffs. Both teams have 4 games remaining in the regular season. The Dodgers trail Atlanta by 4. At least the Dodgers are in the playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
On Monday, October 9th, don't miss the KBLA Talk 1580 exclusive. The tape. 1 year later.
Y'all were coming for us.
Yeah, but Tavis, that's not in my heart. I wasn't coming for anyone like that. I apologize, but that was not me. That's not in my heart. And like I said a few moments ago, I have a solid, demonstrable record of shared power that's real and concrete. That can't be misinterpreted.
Join Tavis Smiley and an all-star panel of political insiders, influencers, and journalists for a look back at the crisis that shook LA City Hall when 4 Latino leaders were caught on tape making racist, demeaning, and derogatory statements about black people and other fellow citizens. On Monday, October 9th, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, The Tape. 1 year later. We're broadcast live in afternoon drive from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. When all was said and done, was more said than done. 1 year later. Are there fractures in LA's black-brown political partnership? And where do we go from here? Don't miss The Tape. 1 year later. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. Monday, October 9th. Live from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. We've got a lot to talk about.
I got a bone to pick. I don't want you monkey mouth sitting in my throne again. I'm mad, but I ain't stressing. True friends, one question. Where you and I was walking. Now I run the game, got the whole world talking. King Kunta, everybody wanna cut the legs off him. Kunta, black man taking no losses. Oh yeah. Where you and I was walking. Now I run the game, got the whole world talking. King Kunta, everybody wanna cut the legs off him. When you got the yams. What's the yams? The yam is the power that be. You can smell it when I'm walking down the street. Oh yes we can, oh yes we can. I can dig rapping, but a rapper with a ghost rider. What the f*** happened? Oh no! I swore I wouldn't tell. But most of y'all share bars like you got the bottom bunk in a 2-man sale. A 2-man sale. Something's in the water. Something's in the water. And if I got a brown nose for some gold, then I'd rather be a bum than a mother ball. Oh yeah. Where you and I was walking.
KBLA Talk 1580, yes. And it's that kind of scholarly conversation with Dr. David Turner, professor at UCLA, longtime activist. And you're welcome in 800-920-1580. So the FBI has said in 2 different analysis, one I'm going to say about 10 years ago and one more recently, that white supremacy or white extremist terrorism represents the number one threat to national security. And the story that I've been meaning to talk about as we watch the January 6th neo-Nazi, followers start getting sentenced to jail time, as we start to see more and more of these incidents coming through the courts, it puts a face on it. But there's a new report that is published in Vice talking about these neo-Nazi, they're like fight clubs, fitness clubs that are preparing these white extremist terrorists for combat. And that they're popping up all over, not just in the U.S., but all over Europe as well. And you would think, oh, well, we're good in Cali. But, I mean, there's 3 of them in California, one to the north, one to the south, one in the middle. They're in every state except for about 4 in the United States.
Well, first and foremost, right, so one of the things I study is social movements, right? And what a lot of times I think we don't talk about enough, right, are conservative social movements or right-wing social movements.
Right.
And, one of the things that these white supremacist groups are attempting to do, right, is they're trying to use violence as a way to sort of maintain control over society, right? And that's one of the things that, and that's one of the things that is not only harmful and violent, but we need to understand what's happening, right? I think a lot of people just kind of leave it out of their mind. Oh, well, that part of racism is over or it's gone. No, it is not.
Or that it's
right?
fringe when it's moved into the mainstream.
Exactly. Or even, right, that it's unorganized. Right. I think we have to remember, right, that, in the same ways how there are organized movements to try and move the needle and make things progressive, there are organized movements who are trying to move that needle back and bring us back into, enslavement, colonization, all of those things, right, that we, have fought to change and transform for the last 400 years, right? And this particular group is one of those groups, right? One of many, right, who are actively working, right, to maintain white supremacy. Right. So while this particular group is an extreme of that, right, understand that there are hundreds of groups who are out here actively organizing, playing the long game. I would strongly encourage that everybody goes to go pick up Hajar Yehida's book, The Struggle for the People's King. And in this book, came out this year in Princeton University Press, she sort of walks through how both progressive and conservative movements try to adopt the or co-opt, right, the memory of the civil rights movement in order to advance their own agenda. And one of the things that I appreciate that she does is she shows how conservatives do it. She shows how people who we would think, right, Dr. King would have actively been against, right? She shows how they try to manipulate that memory and that language, and how they're using his work in service of white supremacy to go as far as to say, right, that Dr. King would have been against critical race theory in schools. What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But
under no circumstances. But right, these are the type of white supremacists, right, who animate the same guys who are running fight clubs. Right? We need to understand that there is an active movement, right, to maintain white supremacy. And there are people who are working on all sides of that. And if we can't name them, if we don't know who they are, right, we'll just think that it's just some random folks or just some, crazy folks over here on one side of the issue. But it's so much more organized than that. And we have to be aware of what's happening. We have to know our opposition.
I mean, honestly, I follow the news and, I'm a big... I'm always concerned about the rise of fascism in our country, but I was very surprised by how organized and coordinated the attack on January 6th was. I really thought, okay, some dimwits that, follow Trump on social media and ended up on this rally. They all got extra fired up and went over and tried to hang Mike Pence. But as the January 6th Select Committee started laying out the facts, and we found out, about the fake electors, and we found out that it was actually coordinated with and the attempt to overthrow the results in Georgia and Arizona, that those were responses to, okay, well, that didn't work, so I guess we'll have to go storm the Capitol. That was, even though it may have been loosely organized, it was much more organized and much more of a vast conspiracy than I imagined.
They had T-shirts.
Yeah.
If you have T-shirts, right, where you're planning, and on a shirt, I saw one shirt that said "The Day America Changed Forever," January 6, 2021. They had T-shirts.
Yeah.
Going to the place, right? I'm just imagining. I'm imagining what it would have been like if Obama put out a call to all the progressives and multiracial coalitions to come and to be at a rally where an election was stolen and all these black folks were in the Capitol. Do you understand how many people would have been shot that day?
Yeah, no, for sure. So far something like 800 or 900 people have been charged. I'm always wondering what percentage of those would be dead, because quite a few of them were punching cops, hitting cops with flag poles, and that nothing like close to that has ever happened at a Black Lives Matter rally, and yet there's constantly violence on the part of the cops.
They were hitting cops with a Blue Lives Matter flag. I think that image alone, right, is indicative of so many things. First and foremost, right, it's indicative that anti-blackness is always the subtext, because those folks never really cared about cops. They just hated black people.
Right.
So they needed a way to show that they hated black people, right? Because as soon as actual cops were telling them what to do, they were like, nah, forget that. Bang.
Right, Right.
So with that being said, right, anti-blackness is the subtext for everybody, right? That's first and foremost. Second, what it demonstrated, and I had said this, a little bit after it happened, is that they just wanted to show people and show the world that white folks could essentially still do what they want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's right. I also think, circling back to the fight clubs, that they're strategic. It's not, you're always going to have people that are just willing to run in and smash the window or whatever, whoever those folks are. But there's also, with the fight clubs, there's a conscious branding where they're trying to make it kinder, gentler Nazism, so that people can, we're just working out, we're learning to fight, we're learning combat. And then slowly over time, they introduce them to these philosophies and radicalize people. Exactly.
And that radicalization then leads to, action, right? And that those actions culminate in different things, right? So we saw that happen in Charlottesville. We saw it happen January 6th. We saw it happen when those folks were arrested in the state of Michigan for a plot to kidnap the governor.
Yeah, right.
Well,
how is that not?
So again, right? So we saw these things happen where people think that these ideas are not, are that they're fringe or on one part of the world, but no. Not only are they pervasive, but this is the result when we don't teach about race in schools. This is the result of when we don't actually have conversations about our true history in this country, right? When we don't do that, when we and I think, and this is my biggest pet peeve about the whole conversation about teaching race in schools, right? People are always concerned about how white kids are going to feel, and they don't want to make white kids feel bad.
Right. The fragility bills.
Yeah. And for me, I'm over here, I'm just like, Well, if you teach white kids about the history of some of these white allies who were part of the civil rights movement, some of the white allies who worked closely with folks like, the UAW and the UFW, like who worked, right, like to fight back against some of these more like racist policies, then they can take pride in the fact that there were people who looked like them who were on the right side of history.
But they don't want that either, because they don't want, they don't want their children identifying with, white abolitionists, because that's why, to me, that's why the whole anti-woke thing is such a big thing, because we saw it in 2020.
Young white kids were challenging their parents.
And challenging their parents, marching and everything else. And what did that? They're beginning to understand why we were protesting. And so I think that's a solution from our point of view, but it's not a solution from the conservative point of view, because it makes their children identify more with the movement.
Exactly. And, quite frankly, I think that's for us, right? Like that needs to be a talking point and a selling point for this type of education. But that's the reality we got to contend with, because again, right, like what happens when, these white children, they're learning about these issues, and then, they look into history and then they see their grandparents on the front lines with those signs talking about, we don't want to integrate our schools. Right. But like what also happens when they see other people who look like them who are like, nah, let's fight back.
Right.
Let's actually like integrate the school, or, like, hey, other people deserve voting rights. Right. Like, what happens when they see folks who look like them who are part of that fight? So I think for us, if we ever want to move towards a country, right, that lives up to whatever ideals, right, we have, which, for me has always been our biggest contradiction. We're going to have to contend with our history. We're going to have to contend with it. So that way these groups, right, these random white supremacist fight clubs, or even, local folks, right, like Kevin De Leon, who are trying to run for office again, even though like him and, his little homies have been the face of, brown anti-blackness, right? Like, if we don't contend with this history, if we don't address it, if we don't work to actively change it, right, then we're going to continue repeating these cycles, right? So that's why we gotta keep fighting.
Well, Dr. David Turner, I know I got to let you get to school and do your job, but thank you so much for going in on some of these national conversations with me. If you want to talk about that drab event called the Republican debate, we can do that when we come forward. The Biden impeachment hearings, that waste of money starts today.
Wow.
We got a lot to talk about. Call me now, 800-920-1580. And Dr. Turner, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
It is unapologetically progressive. KBLA, Talk 1580.
More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
What makes Taco Bell's rolled chicken tacos so good? Is it the shredded, marinated, all-white meat chicken? Well, yeah, obviously. But it's also the 3 amazing dipping sauces to choose from. Spicy ranch, warm nacho cheese sauce, and house-made daily guacamole. Now, if you need a third reason, their white corn tortillas are fried to golden perfection, which everyone knows is the best kind of perfection. Order rolled chicken tacos on the Taco Bell app. Get 1 dip for 2-pack or 2 dips for 4-pack at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now, you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears, thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable with Always Fear No Gush.
A lot of schools talk about training the cybersecurity workforce of the future, but do they really deliver? My Computer Career has been supplying the IT workforce with thousands of skilled, certified pros for 15 years. Train with the experts in support, networking, or cybersecurity, and start your career in months, not years. Upskill even faster. On campus or live online. Qualified students may get financial aid, including the GI Bill. My Computer Career. Accredited, acclaimed, effective. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu.
After a big dinner, my nighttime heartburn would keep me up. I'd be taking antacid after antacid all night long. But then I tried Prilosec OTC. Just one pill a day blocks my frequent heartburn for a full 24 hours, giving me one-and-done heartburn relief. Without heartburn keeping me up, I could have a restful night's sleep.
Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black. Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
It does, and while we're having the conversation on the radio terrestrially, I encourage you to get our app. It's KBLA 1580 at the App Store and the Google Play Store, and I encourage you to follow us on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You will find us at KBLA 1580. You'll find me at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. Please like, follow, subscribe. It helps. We are grateful. And if you're trying to reach Dr. David Turner, he's at Dr. Kunta 23, Dr._Kunta 23, Critical Trap Theory. That's hilarious. Reach out, like to talk to you all the time. Going to Fred from the Crenshaw District. I'm sure Fred watched the drab affair that is known as the Republican debate. Did you not?
I checked it out, but basically they had a lot of, all of them, they had 7 clowns up there, but the 2 that was really the big winners was Christie and Nikki Haley. And the thing about it, none of them really talked about what they would do if they become president of the United States. And that other guy, Vivek, and Nikki Haley, she really got on him. I'm talking about the more I speak to you, the dumber I get. And the people started clapping after Nikki Haley made that statement. So now I found out from Channel 34, the next debate will be November 8th in Miami, Florida. Once I found exactly where, I'll let the KGL state play know. But as it goes now, I think our best bet, this is my personal opinion, you can let me know what to think, and we should go with Joe Biden. Said, well, he's too old. Nobody said nothing when Ronald Reagan was running for second term in the 80s. That man was down there at 79, 80 years old. Bernie Sanders is old too. So it comes down to a choice. You want to go forward or you want to go backward. You want to go forward, you go with my man Joe Biden. If you want to go backward, you go with Trump. We had 4 years of that man. He is a terror. Even Nikki Haley brought that out last night. If Trump is right, he wants to get rid of unions. You won't have no overtime pay. And I'm so glad that Biden went down there to stand with the United Auto Workers. And as I close, I hope we don't have a government shutdown on Saturday the 30th. Take care. You're a great host, and I'll take your comments off the air, and you have a nice weekend, Dominique.
Thank you, Fred. You said a lot of important things. There's a couple funny things, too. But you're right. Joe Biden is old, and so was Reagan. And you know who else is old? Donald Trump. Donald Trump is old. They're old. Our presidential field, the ones that are the front runners right now, are, as Tavis would say, chronologically gifted. It is what it is. And I saw a brilliant article in the Washington Post making the argument, the reason that people have a problem with Biden being old is because they're afraid of President Harris. I don't have no problem with President Harris. I would consider that, a positive thing. Not that I'm saying I want Biden to die. Don't go all down that road. I'm just saying that if Biden was not able to continue due to his advanced age or end of life, you got President Kamala Harris. That's why people are so obsessed with Biden being old and not obsessed with Trump being old, because the MAGA people know that whether it's Vivek Ramaswamy or I don't know who else, Larry Elder, that he puts on his ticket as a VP. Notice I didn't say Tim Scott, although that could be too. That they're going to get the same policies, right? All of them are pretty much parroting, other than Chris Christie, as you point out, Fred. But that's because Chris Christie's whole jam is criticizing the 45th president. The rest of them are pretty much little MAGA mini-me's. So there's no worry. I mean, I'm sure they don't want the 45th president to meet his demise. I'm sure they don't want him to be incapacitated from the over-ingestion of diet sodas. That said, they already know there's no racist factor. Well, I guess if he did pick, I don't know, Scott, that could be a factor. Oh, we don't want a black president. But even so, they know they're going to get the same MAGA agenda. They're going to get the same anti-black, anti-brown, anti-worker agenda that they get with the orange man or without the orange man. Different candidate, same agenda, pretty much. I mean, I have to force myself to pay attention to Republican debates right now, because to me, it's number one, none of them are going to probably be president unless Trump kicks the bucket. They don't stand a chance. So what are they? They're running for vice president? We already know that unless Trump is somehow disqualified from the ticket, he's going to be the nominee. It's true that Nikki Haley has gained, to your point, Fred, because of her 2 strong debate performances, she's polling well now. She's really jumped up quite a bit in the ranking after the debates. And so has Vivek Ramaswamy, even though he's, like the poster boy. If Donald J. Trump was East Indian, his name would be Vivek. Oh, and younger, Ramaswamy. But the fact is that they're not going to get the nomination. I just don't see it happening. And I don't see, even if Trump is disqualified on certain state ballots or that somehow are able to keep him off because of the 14th Amendment, he will still be the nominee of the Republican Party. So the race for vice president, we know who ain't going to win. Mike Pence. Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. News, traffic, and sports right now. Only right here.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The American soldier released from North Korea this week will be medically evaluated in San Antonio, Texas. U.S. authorities took custody of 23-year-old African-American Travis King Wednesday. King is being taken to Brooke Army Medical Center at Fort Sam Houston. The Army private was reportedly facing disciplinary problems when he crossed the border between North and South Korea in July while on a bus tour of the demilitarized zone. Last night's Republican presidential debate went on without frontrunner Donald Trump. 2 of the 7 candidates took shots at the former president. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said Trump was missing in action, and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie said Trump would rather hide behind his golf clubs than defend his record. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers are discussing a game plan to acquire LA native Drew Holiday. The 14-year NBA veteran was among 7 players involved in the 3-team trade yesterday that sent Damian Lillard from the Portland Trailblazers to the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks sent Holiday to Portland as part of that deal. Portland is rebuilding with younger players. Holiday, at age 33, might not be a good fit with the Blazers. The former UCLA star will be a better fit with a veteran Clippers roster and probably a better fit than James Harden. Stay tuned. The Dodgers are running out of time to catch Atlanta for Major League Baseball's best record and home field advantage in the playoffs. Both teams have 4 games remaining in the regular season. The Dodgers trail Atlanta by 4. At least the Dodgers are in the playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Applications are now being accepted for the City of Los Angeles Emergency Renters Assistance Program. The program provides up to 6 months of rental arrears to low-income residential renters who are at risk of homelessness due to unpaid rent as a result of COVID-19 or other financial hardship. Applications will not be accepted after 6 p.m. on October 2nd, 2023. Go online 24/7 at housing.lacity.org or call 888-379-3150 from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and see if you qualify. Apply today.
On Monday, October 9th, don't miss the KBLA Talk 1580 exclusive. The tape. 1 year later.
Y'all were coming for us.
Yeah, but Tavis, that's not in my heart. I wasn't coming for anyone like that. I apologize, but that was not me. That's not in my heart. And like I said a few moments ago, I have a solid, demonstrable record of shared power that's real and concrete. That can't be misinterpreted.
Join Tavis Smiley and an all-star panel of political insiders, influencers, and journalists for a look back at the crisis that shook LA City Hall when 4 Latino leaders were caught on tape making racist, demeaning, and derogatory statements about black people and other fellow citizens. On Monday, October 9th, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, The Tape. 1 year later. We'll broadcast live in afternoon drive from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. When all was said and done, was more said than done. 1 year later. Are there fractures in LA's black-brown political partnership? And where do we go from here? Don't miss The Tape. 1 year later. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. Monday, October 9th. Live from 5 to 7 p.m. with an immediate encore presentation from 7 to 9 p.m. We've got a lot to talk about.
As we go a little something like this.
Hey, it is me, D.L. Huger, and I am thrilled to be heard weekdays in my hometown on KBLA Talk 1580. So check out the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a whole lot to talk about, let me tell you.
That's for the real. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like your style, though.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, make it make sense, right? We are on the verge of a government shutdown. But what are the Republicans making time for today? They are holding their first hearing on the impeachment inquiry against President Joe Biden. We got 2 days to make sure the military is paid, that, that our educational institutions and all of these other things that rely on day-to-day government funding to function, for society to function. Oh, like, say, the TSA. We got 2 days. But what do they have time for today? An impeachment inquiry against the President of the United States. We're not going to learn anything new. We're just going to hear them sort of making excuses for why they need to spend your money and my money to investigate President Biden's supposed crimes, of which they've already been investigating, talking about partnering with their conservative media friends to try to make the case, and have found Zippo. Yeah. Does Hunter Biden have problems? Yes, he does. Did we know that when we elected President Biden? Yes, we did. Every family has a F up, right? In one way or another. I'm not saying that to make an excuse. I'm just saying that it's not a surprise. And it doesn't mean that Joe Biden did anything criminal. Yeah. So, because if it was that serious, they would have found something by now. But no, they're going to waste our money. Well, Rome burns. No evidence yet of anything done by Biden other than innuendo. Yeah, he's his kid. Oh, he got mail at his address. Da-na-na-na. I mean, do you not have kids? Yeah, you're going to be getting mail and other things at your house for time immemorial. Anyway, this is what Republicans have time for today. This is what they have time for today, even though the majority of voters are saying, you know what, this is a waste of our time. In fact, there's a new NBC poll nationally. 56% of registered voters say Congress should not be holding these hearings to try to remove Biden from office. 56% say no. And let me tell you something. I imagine that number will go way up if, while the Republicans are fiddling around trying to impeach a president who hasn't done a crime that they've come up with yet, if the government shuts down, I think it's going to be a really, really bad look for them. Remember Travis King, the U.S. soldier who ran into North Korea? He was facing some possible disciplinary measures in Texas. Don't know what was going on with this young black man. But he ran across the border from South Korea into North Korea. Well, North Korea kicked him out yesterday. And he's on his He's actually back on U.S. soil. They're going to take him into a sort of debriefing process called PISA, post-isolation support activities. That sounds scary. They say it's meant to help you reacclimatize yourself to the United States and deal with any trauma that you may have suffered. His family, of course, is ecstatic. The North Korean government said that the soldier had illegally intruded into their territory because he was disillusioned about inhumane treatment and racial discrimination, along with the inequality existing within American society. Of course, they're going to say that. It's probably true. I bet you what he found over there in detention was not much better. Sweden and China both apparently helped get this person back. Just a weird story and a made-for-TV movie waiting to happen. Elon Musk has won a contract with the U.S. Space Force, his SpaceX company, for Starshield deepening technology and customized satellite communications for the military. That seems odd to me after the incident in Ukraine, where they made their own call about whether or not to provide the Ukrainian, and by they I mean Elon Musk and his, corporate entities, about whether to provide the Ukrainians with the technology that they were meant to provide. Does that make sense? You know what? I will track it, but at first glance, it doesn't seem like it makes sense to hand over a contract, a U.S. military contract, to someone who has already shown that his companies will make the call at the expense of a military operation that they feel is best for their corporate interests. Does anyone care about the Republican debate? Well, I don't. But if you do, Miles doesn't, apparently. But if you do, you're welcome to call 800-920-1580. I am concerned about this government shutdown. I'm hoping that we can avert it, but it doesn't look good because even though the Senate has put together some kind of deal, if it doesn't go through the House, it's not a deal, right? They can pass something and say, okay, we over here in the Senate, we're the grown folks. But if the House of Representatives won't pass it, it won't mean anything. And Kevin McCarthy is obviously more concerned about keeping his job than keeping the government open. Because if he partnered with Democrats and just got a few Republicans, he could pass a deal. But then someone will challenge his speakership. I don't know if they can win that challenge. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. They can challenge it. They can call it up for a vote. And I know why he'd be scared. I think it was 15 times he had to take that vote before he won last time. But since the Republicans are so disunited right now, so frayed, it seems like even if they called the vote, it's unlikely that they'd be able to just kick him out of there that quickly. All right. Call me now, 800-920-1580. We are talking immigration next hour, immigration and white supremacy with attorney Nana Gyamfi. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the above, plus the many things I haven't even touched on yet. We are the place that's amplifying black and progressive voices. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts. Hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, in downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talents, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Meanwhile, as the boring Republican, inconsequential, maybe not completely, but rather inconsequential debate raged on, Trump went ahead and had his little fake strike rally at a non-union plant. And it turns out some of the people that were at that rally for Trump were carrying signs saying they were union members, but the Detroit News reports they were fake union members. One guy was holding a sign that said union members for Trump, but he later admitted to not being a union member. A woman had a placard that said auto workers for Trump and confessed she was not an auto worker. You gotta love it. Make America fake again. He went to Trump. Trump goes to Michigan to stand with the auto workers, but goes to a non-union plant and hires fake union workers to carry fake signs. But, I'm laughing, but I should be crying because there's a lot of people that are buying this act. Let's go to JW, calling us from where JW be at. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Dominique. Unfortunately, I woke up to some bad news watching CNN News. Jamie Raskin, he actually exposed what Donald Trump marching orders were to the Republican Party, which is the motivation behind the government shutdown is so his trials can be delayed because the funding will be delayed because the government will be shut down.
Yeah.
And Jamie Raskin also about how Donald Trump don't care about nobody getting paid or particular programs where they feed people or whatever the social program may be, as well as the veterans and et cetera. And I just think it's a shame, and I just wish, it's a fantasy, but I just wish we can just organize as a group of people, I don't care, all nationalities, humanity, and we do something that puts back against this, because I don't see nothing good but hell. As simple as that. Autocracy with a dictator. Democracy is going to dissolve and go away and be a pipe dream.
Ooh, I hope that's wrong. Yeah, I hope it's wrong. I can see why you would say it. A lot of people believe we are already in the early stages of fascism. Certainly we're functioning as an oligarchy. But I hope that you brought up Representative Jamie Rask, and I hope he's right about what he said about Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is that this government shutdown could be the end of their political careers. That would be a bonus.
Well, that would be a plus, but then the other factors just compound and just tremendously worse. But you have a good day. Goodbye. All
right, you too, JW. And you're right. It's not worth it. I mean, it's worth a lot to get rid of Gaetz and people like that, right? The the traitor delegation inside of our House of Representatives, but it's not worth the pain that Americans are going to suffer. It's not maybe. We've been through this before. We know what happens when the government shuts down. It's a big waste of time. It's a big waste of money. It brings unnecessary pain into the lives of American workers who just so happen to work for the government of the United States of America. Going to Ron from Richmond. Good morning.
Good morning, buenos dias, and all that wonderful, beautiful stuff there. How you doing there, Dominique?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm blessed, too. Thankful to be here another day. Got to give a shout-out to my Pittsburgh Steelers going to Las Vegas to beat them Raiders this past Sunday. My other brother wasn't too happy about that. He don't talk to me. He just do that text thing, talking about the Raiders pitiful. We beat them. We beat them last year in Pittsburgh. Then we go to Las Vegas and beat them again. So I was quite thoroughly happy about that. You know what I mean? But the 49ers, woo, they beat us like a high school football team in week one.
See, that's when you got to practice switching sides, Ron.
Yeah.
You have to go like, well, I'm from the Bay, you know.
Yeah, a lot of cats already know. I be sporting Pittsburgh Steelers stuff. They know I'm born and raised here in the Bay. So, but that game right there in particular was for my brother and his wife and my late dad, and of course you. So,
well, look, while you're talking, first of all, I love that you dedicate that to your late dad.
Always,
for sure.
Yeah.
But since you're talking sports, how are you feeling? I saw a lot of people talking smack about Colin Kaepernick on socials for trying to get a tryout and saying he's trying to sell out. And I don't know. How do you feel about that? Like he's 36. He's trying to get another shot as a QB.
Yeah. I'm feeling some kind of way about that, man.
You do?
At least he's capable. At least the man's still capable of playing, and even though he didn't get a ring, he helped your Niners get to the bowl that year. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, give a man a chance. I've seen cats arguing about that on the NFL Network. Like, give Colin Kaepernick a chance to play.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of these guys, you know, the so-called pro-black folks, and I say so-called because I think they're secretly MAGA, just talking smack about him. Of course, Charlemagne the God called him pathetic, but that's bull. Like, it's not a sellout move. That's the game he loves. This is what I think. This is what I've been doing with my life. If I'm Kaepernick, I'm a football player. I love football. I took a knee. It's not like he's selling out. He still has the autopsy project. He's still helping families whose loved ones are killed by police to pay for autopsies. He still has the Know Your Rights camp. He's still fighting for justice. He hasn't backed off that. He just said he wants a shot at playing football. And at 36, if he's been keeping himself in shape, which clearly he has, he's got to do it now. He can't wait. And I don't know. Miles, you don't agree? You have a look on your face.
Uh-oh. What's up, Miles?
I don't know if he'll be able to play at this high of a level with that long of a gap. So, I mean, I'm not what I'm against. I'm against everybody jumping. I'm not an NFL defender at all, but I'm not blaming the NFL if he doesn't get a shot here. He's 36, hasn't played in how many years? I'm not surprised.
Well, I'll blame the NFL because they kept him out in the years when he could have probably done it, right?
Before everything before he took the money, I blame the NFL for. I get that, but afterwards, I don't have no sympathy for Kaepernick as a quarterback.
I give you that, but give him a shot is all I'm saying. If he can't make the team, he can't make the team, but give him a shot. Hold that thought, Ron. KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, though.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, Ron, you started this football mess, and I get what you're saying, Miles. I'm not saying he needs a senior citizen scholarship, to play, that he gets a pass or anything like that, but he should get a tryout. He could be your backup quarterback. Maybe he could be your starter. You don't know how well he's playing. I'm trying to.
Nobody knows how well he's playing.
He's rested his body. His mind is still sharp. So what you're telling me is Tom Brady can play at 45, but Kaepernick can't play at 36?
Tom Brady got 5, 6, 7, 8 Super Bowls.
All right, but we're not talking about a Super Bowl. We're talking about a team that needs a quarterback. Give the guy a shot.
Tom Brady cheated to get most of them rings.
Oh, say that.
Fired. I said it. I hope they hear me worldwide, too. Tom Brady cheated to get some of them rings.
You should see the look on Miles' face. He got them pursed lips like, nah.
I mean, I get it.
And I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. He's 39 years old. What happened week 1? He done. He need to retire.
All I'm saying is give him a shot. He has rested his body. He has the mental skills, and his body hasn't taken the wear and tear of a normal 36-year-old quarterback because he's had time away from the game. He hasn't taken those hits. He hasn't had the wear and tear on his body year in, year out. Whereas Tom Brady was a true 45. Colin Kaepernick might be more like 34, 33 on his physically.
I think it make a big difference if any team called Kaepernick and like, hey, come work out with us, that actually believed in him as opposed to him reaching out. I see that being more likely for him to get a job.
But you can't blame a man for trying to get a job in the field that he loves before it's too late.
Right. I get it.
I mean, he didn't even want to publicize that letter. J. Cole is the one who publicized that letter.
Right. True. Good point. Pray for Cap, though. I hope he
You're a hater. You're a hater, Miles.
I'm pro-black. Pro-black quarterback, everything.
All right, Ron, giving you the last word on this since you started it.
It's all love, man. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick and to Nessa. I never met Nessa in person, but she used to do radio.
His girlfriend.
Back in the girlfriend. Oh, they're not married yet. Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Well, maybe they are. I'm
gonna be dipping. I'm gonna be dipping in all them people's personal business.
I don't think they are.
Shout out to Colin Kaepernick and Nessa and the kid. I wish that brother all the best. He gonna still have my support no matter what. And I'm like you, Dominique. Give a man a chance. You never know what he could do until you put him out there on the field.
So apparently they're not married. They've been married, but they've been dating for 7 years.
Okay.
So those Google fingers don't miss, Ron.
Thank you, Dominique, for taking my call. I appreciate it. Shout out to Miles. Y'all keep on putting it down. Always got my support up here in the Bay. Love y'all.
I said I gave you the last word, but I lied, Ron. Go Niners! Just kidding. I know. No cap. All right. So, look, we're going to talk about immigration. It's a hot topic. And it's an important topic to address, especially for progressives and black folks, because we run around saying a lot of things that do not serve us and are not supported by the facts. Immigration and white supremacy. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
At Fort Sam Houston, the Army Private